Okay, mindful nerd moment. So, what I was thinking we could do, I think actually for this week's episode lines up really well. We were talking about this interesting toxic relationship essentially between Arnold Wesker, the ventriloquist, and Scarface, his dummy. And I was just highlighting how you'd think if it's so toxic that Arnold would not mind just throwing Scarface away. But he actually will risk his life to try and save Scarface and really struggles with that separation. And so I was just thinking about what it would be like for him when in those moments, say one of those first moments where sometimes like Scarface is destroyed, for example, in the animated series. Trying to make a decision without Scarface there to tell him what to do.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
thinking we could imagine trying to help ourselves through a mindful moment with that because it could get quite overwhelming, I would
Oh,
imagine.
that's got to be very intense.
Yeah. So, what decision do you want him to be having to make?
Gosh, I don't know. My go-to because I'm kind of hungry was what pizza to order. I don't know if
I like
that's
it.
you. Okay, cool. I didn't
I
know
like
if
it.
it needed to be something like serious or if it was. Yeah.
No, 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 no. I mean, you could have been more clever about it, but whatever.
I
We
mean,
can do. I'm just
Papa John's or Domino's. I don't know. Wait, can we say that on this podcast? I don't.
No, 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 no.
We
So
just
you're
don't
trying to
say the
decide.
decision, right?
There you go. So you're trying to decide what pizza to get. I think that's perfect. Seemingly simple, and yet at the same time can be hard for anybody, let alone for a guy who has not been making his own decisions.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. So, like we always do, I'd like you to sit straight but comfortably. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or you can just soften your gaze, not looking at anything in particular, and focus on your breath. Pay attention to what it feels like to breathe in and out, using this as a way to help you focus in on this mindful nerd moment. And when you're ready, I want you to imagine that you are Arnold Wesker. You are the ventriloquist. And let's say, a day or two ago, Scarface was actually destroyed. There was a whole situation with Batman, and you're having to try and make it on your own. You escaped from Batman, so you're so far you're okay. But you got to eat. So okay, there's you see like a few coupons for pizza. You go, okay, I got to eat, and so you realize, uh oh, I have to decide on a pizza. I've never done this without Scarface before. How do I decide on a pizza? Do I even like pizza? Well, if I do like pizza, what is it that I like? What have we had before? What has Scarface told me? What if I pick wrong? And you just feel as all these questions come to you, your anxiety is getting higher, you're feeling some things really intensely, and you decide, you know what? This is becoming a lot for me. I'm starting to look in the corner. I'm seeing my sock. I'm seeing a little a Sharpie next to it. Getting real tempted to make myself a little sock puppet because being without Scarface feels like a little too much. But you know what? Let me try to do this on my own. So instead of grabbing that sock, you pause and you close your eyes and you take a deep breath, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. I am having a feeling of worry. I am concerned that I don't know what pizza I like. I'm scared to make this decision without Scarface, and it is okay that I'm having these thoughts and feelings. And I'm still going to try and test a pizza out. Doesn't matter which one. You breathe in one more time, really noticing that breath in through the nose. Noticing how the air feels at it as it enters, and then breathing out through the mouth, noticing how the breath changes, and making sure that you empty your lungs completely and feel what that's like. Then you open your eyes, you look over at the pizza coupons, you still feel that anxiety, you're still worried about it, and you're feeling it just a little bit less intensely. So you just reach out your hand and you decide, I'm just going to point to whichever pizza in here looks best right in this moment. You point to a Papa John's pepperoni pizza and you say, okay, let's do it. And now that we've helped Arnold pick out a pizza for himself, before we leave him, let's just do a little bit of a pat on our back and say, good job. We're doing this without Scarface. It's hard, and I'm still doing it. And then when you're ready, I want you to start shifting in your seat and coming back to yourself. You're no longer Arnold Wesker. Your life's probably a bit simpler, if not a lot simpler, without having to deal with, Batman and crime and Scarface and all that stuff. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of relief as we come back together to wrap up this mindful nerd moment. How was that for you?
I liked it. And it's funny because, of course, I do not have dissociative identity disorder. However, I have an insanely hard time figuring out what to eat at
Ah,
restaurants, to the point that a lot of the times, if I ever go to a restaurant and get something and like it, I'll never try anything different on the menu. Like they'll have to be out of it for me to not for me to get
yep.
something else. And at that point, I might just go to a different restaurant. Like I
There you go.
have
Yeah.
such a hard time figuring out something to eat, especially if it's like one of those restaurants that has like 1,000 items. Like I hate
Yeah.
going to Cheesecake Factory because Cheesecake Factories has like a book
Way too
for a
many.
menu.
I'm
Way too
with
much
you
for a
on that.
place that specializes in just cheesecake and nothing
Right?
else, right? Um, well, we're hitting a lot of product placement tonight, aren't we? But yeah, like I have such a hard time with that. And so like even though like I said, no dissociative identity disorder here,
Mhm.
I think
You
it's
can still
definitely
relate to the
good to
struggle.
use
Yeah.
mindfulness when it comes to figuring out what you want to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Simple, straightforward. Try not to let your brain overcomplicate it.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni.